Greetings, fans of Smash! It is I, PushDustIn, here once again to answer your questions about the Smash & Bros games that we all love. Once again, I have collected some questions from Twitter, and I've also looked through the comments on the last video and got some questions from there. Before we begin, I just want to say that once again, I am not an insider. These are just my best guesses and the information that is available to me. I've done Smash translations for well over half a decade now, but I'm not Sakurai, so please don't take my word as gospel, and please don't expect that I have everything correct. And also, this time I will again not be using a script, so if I ramble, please excuse me. And I just have a document with all the questions, and I'll start answering them. Fazio Rani on Twitter asks, do third-party spear events point to that company getting a fighter or another fighter in the past, or is it just collaboration for that spirit event? If so, what about companies that haven't gotten a spirit event? Okay, so I think with the whole spear event, I think that it's a lot less effort than a character. It's quite obvious that it is. There's also less paperwork involved probably, because they just need to sign over some publishing rights and publicity rights to Nintendo. So I don't think it's as involved, but I think it still requires some work from Nintendo. So I don't think that it's necessarily correlated that they all are bundled with characters, but it would definitely make sense that a lot of the spear events are tied to characters. So Kairu Gosa on Twitter asks, what do you think may be some token characters that we might get in the remainder of Fighter Pass? Examples of some of the ones that people think are Gen 8 Pokemon and Rex and Pyra to represent a new entry in the Xenoblade universe. I think a character from a Nintendo series, as I said in the last video, is still very, very likely. I think that we might get one or two Nintendo characters. Red Hutel on Twitter asks, around what time was the Fighters Pass 2 decided? I assume that the information could narrow things down a bit, mainly because of spear events and age of various Switch games. So I think that's a very good question, and one that we unfortunately don't have a lot of information on. It seems with Steve, according to Kaplan, who used to work with Mojang AB, Steve was in the talks for about 5 years before he actually even appeared in Smash. Of course, he wasn't worked on until after 2017. If you want sources for that, you can go ahead and check out the Smash Ultimate Development Timeline, which I've been putting together. That at least some characters who were considered, characters were considered before Fighter Pass 2 was even announced and even a thing. It's quite possible that Fighter Pass 1 and 2 were decided at the very beginning, and Nintendo just kind of marketed it as, oh, we don't know what's going to happen kind of thing. Long-term plans are not unusual, I think. And I think with Smash for Wii U and 3DS, even though Sakurai at times has said, we're not planning, he said we are not working on DLC. I think DLC was always kind of planned for a while during that game's development. Now that's just based on my own intuition. It's not based on any quotes or anything like that. I think that the DLC has not been worked on until post-game and everything like that. And I think the same can be said with Fighter Pass 1 and Fighter Pass 2. I don't think any work on them has progressed, but I think contracts and starting to get the negotiations going, I think that might have started before they announced the Fighter Pass. Of course, with like third-party characters, those negotiations take years, as we saw with Steve. Unknown Gino asks, what do you think about Western rep chances for the future after Steve's release? I think Steve is kind of in a unique position because Minecraft is very popular in Japan. Like it's done really well. Even though it's a Western game, it's not the same as, Grand Theft Auto or something like that, where like you have some market penetration of those games, but they're not on the same level as Japanese gaming and stuff like that. And this kind of relates to another question I got on YouTube by Even One, who asked, who quoted me when I said Smash is a way to celebrate Japanese gaming, and he said, "Are you sure? Where did he say that?" So that comes from a translation that I did about 4 years ago. where Sakurai was talking about the barrier of AAA games. I'll be sure to show it on screen and link it in the description. But he says that he's very proud that Smash is a way to celebrate Japanese gaming, and he'd like to continue that. So I think Minecraft, even though it's a Western character, I don't think it's that unreasonable, and it's definitely one that we've talked about in the past on Source Gaming as being a very likely character for this game. It kind of also ties into another question by WYNN728, who asked, think they won't use the results of the Fighter Pass for the rest of Smash DLC, seeing how they're not including as many fan request characters as they used to? Question mark. So Steve was actually very highly requested in the Smash ballot. I think with the Smash for Wii U and 3DS Smash ballot, he actually placed quite high. There's a huge campaign to get Steve and Shovel Knight into Smash for 3DS and Wii U, and I think we're seeing Steve now because of that. And Minecraft has worldwide recognition, so I think it was kind of like a no-brainer choice looking back on it. So I think for a Western rep, we could see another one. I still think that if it's a Western character, I think Rayman and Master Chief are probably the higher choices, the highest probability of happening. I'll be interested to hear what you guys have to say in the comments below. Laptop Monkey 1 says, do you think a Dark Souls character will be the Bandai Namco rep instead of other characters like Lloyd or another different kind of Bandai rep? So I think a Dark Souls character would be also a very high probability of appearing in this pass, because Dark Souls is a huge game, and the remaster's coming out. They released the amiibo at one point for the Switch, so the fact that they can release even amiibo for the series, it shows that it's a very strong series. And so I think having some sort of representation in Smash at some point is just bound to happen eventually. I think with Tales of, I also think that that's a really big series and it's really missing from Smash. And I would not be surprised if Lloyd shows up somewhere. I have a feeling that he's just going to be another premium DLC costume, because it seems like they're just adding one Bandai Namco costume to each pack. Like they had Heihachi, and then they had Gil in the latest one. So I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up. The fact that they are spreading out the Bandai Namco Mii costumes, I think that illustrates that we're not going to get a Bandai Namco character, because if we were going to get one character, then we'd get a bunch of costumes with them all at once. We'll have to see what happens with the next one and see if Lloyd shows up. But I'm at least expecting his Mii costume to reappear. At It Will Take Ages asks, if Dante were to hypothetically come to Smash, do you see Sakurai implementing style switching in his moveset along with Devil Trigger? I could definitely see that. I'm not a big fan of Devil May Cry, so I'll have to leave this question to a Shadow Link, who will be more than happy to probably answer your question at a later time. I think that whenever Sakurai brings a character into Smash, he's trying to replicate that playstyle into Smash, and he's really trying to draw from different series in order to get different playstyles, especially with DLC. Really focus on how each character is unique. Having that style switching, I think that only makes sense and kind of adds to Dante as an appealing character. Sup the Gamer says, because the Switch is getting 2 exclusive Monster Hunter games, do you think this will promote a full Monster Hunter Fighter and Smash DLC Pass 2, similar to Dragon Quest Hero in Pass 1 when Dragon Quest XI-S was timed exclusive for Switch for a year? And yeah, I think Monster Hunter being Smash DLC also, makes a lot of sense. The fact that we got only Rathalos as a boss is kind of surprising. There could be an instance of the developers not really wanting the avatar to be a character in the game, like we saw with I think it was Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but we don't know if they have changed that, especially with the Mii costumes and the Monster Hunter being a playable fighter in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I think Monster Hunter. I think that's not very likely, but likely. The only reason it's not very likely is just because we already have Rathalos. Yeah, I think it could happen. I wouldn't be surprised by it, especially because the new fighter, the new character in Monster Hunter, I think would play really well in Smash. He could have a tether recovery. So, Herder asks, after the second pass is done, will the Smash team continue to do balance updates for the characters? I think we will continue to get some updates. Obviously, the team will be downsized once the pass is completed and they're no longer making DLC. But having like a couple people on the team to just balance it every once in a while, or taking community feedback, I think that would go a long ways. Especially because Nintendo is promoting Smash Ultimate as an evergreen title. They really want people to play competitively with it, and so I think that Nintendo hopefully will support it in some ways. But we saw with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe that they just kind of abandoned that game after they released it. They didn't even have DLC. Same with Super Mario Party. Could go either way, but I'm thinking that they will at least do some updates for some time and kind of announce, this is up until when we'll do updates, kind of like what they did with Splatoon 2. So CGS0 asks, darn, I missed my chance to ask a question. I thought I had heard that Fighter Pass Season 2 had a lower budget compared to the first one. Do you know where that might come from? Well, that's hinted at in this video. I was hoping to find an exact statement. Okay. So, Sakura has said that the budget has already impacted the ability to do full trailers like what they did with new content approaching Joker. That's why they switched over to the live stream. We're not sure how many people, how much staff is left working on the team, but I can't imagine it's the same size as the first Fighter Pass or even the base game, of course. Ahman Kazan, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. They asked, what do you think of chances for a new Sonic rep? And I don't think it's very likely with DLC. I know someone else asked about Shadow being upgraded for DLC, and again, I don't think that's really likely. Just because I think that if they're going to add a new character, they're going to try to add a new moveset or a new playstyle with them, kind of like what they've done with Min Min and Steve and all the other characters, even Violet, who has the weapon switching, gimmick. But so Mr. Zygarbe 64, again, apologies if I mispronounced that. They asked, how would you feel if Popeye was chosen to be the first non-video game character in Smash Bros? I think if we're going to get a non-video game character, it's either going to be Goku, Mickey Mouse, or Popeye. But Popeye is probably the more oddball choice, just because while he does have that legacy and history, like Donkey Kong was inspired by Popeye game originally. I think like if you're gonna go with a non-video game character, you're gonna go bigger. So I think that it wouldn't be Popeye. It'd probably be Mickey Mouse, or it'd probably be Goku. If it would be Goku, it would completely break the internet, just like Steve did. Sean Leah asks, what is the possibility of Waluigi and Shadow getting into Smash Ultimate as DLC? Because I really wanted them in Smash Bros. Like they should have been years ago. And I think that Waluigi is more likely than Shadow. As I mentioned before, I don't think they'll add Shadow as DLC. But I think with Waluigi, you had a lot of fans question him more so than Shadow, so I think Waluigi has a bit better shot. But seeing how they're really focusing again on new movesets and uniqueness and stuff like that, it's kind of hard to say that. It's kind of hard to say that Waluigi's likely. Even I would say that he has a shot. Like I wouldn't say that he's definitely in the past or anything like that. With so Deku Scrub asks, with Fighter Pass 1 and 2 having new characters and stages, do you think we'll see older stages return in the future, like Rainbow Road or Poke Floats? If so, what stages would you like to see return as part of a future update or as DLC? So we got like a small battlefield, which was pretty surprising, but yeah, that came out of nowhere. But it's kind of similar to when they just released Duck Hunt on the 3DS, because the pirate ship wouldn't work on it. I think a lot of the reasons that the stages got cut, like the Woolly World and Rainbow Road, was because they couldn't work with Stage Morph. Like, you know, the platforms and everything like that, it just wasn't working. The Orbital Gate Assault, I think it is probably the deepest cut in my opinion. Like that stage was so beautiful, but it's a mess to play on with 8 players and everything like that. So I think with 8 players, Stage Morph, and everything like that, it was just too hard to add those stages. So I don't know if we will get them as DLC. It's possible that, you know, that we'll get them. We have, you know, open slots on the stage select screen, so that extend well beyond the Fighter Pass 2. So it's possible. I would like to see Orbital Gate Assault and Rainbow Road in particular. Poke Floats, I like it, but I'd like to see it reimagined with newer Pokemon. It's not just the same Pokemon as Melee, but that's definitely a stage that I also miss. I don't think anyone misses that terrible Donkey Kong stage. The one that scrolls up. No one wants that back. So let's keep that way. So yeah, I think that wraps it up for this video. Let me know what questions you have. I might do this again in the future, so if you leave a question, I will of course try to answer that in the future video. Hopefully this answers some of the questions that you guys have. Just like with the last one, my opinions will change as we get more information. So you can ask me, what do you think about, you know, this and that now that we have this? And I'll give you my quick thoughts on that. As always, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment. That will only help this channel grow. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at PushDustIn. And I hope to see you guys very soon. Hope you enjoy Steve.